You are now tuned in to the Windy City Benders podcast. This is WCBP.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB podcast, part of the Hockey Podcast Network. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Nothing much, bud. What's going on?
Not much. It feels like it's been much longer since we recorded because I feel like there's just so much in the world of hockey right now, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, in the world in general.
That's fair. Yeah. And it's crazy how the world problems are like being absorbed into hockey. Yep. And it's very weird times. And I feel like everybody's kind of riding like a thin line of like what's morally right versus what's really right. And it's making for some interesting situations. We'll get to that in a little bit. First, let's get our usual Hawks talk in. Quite a bit to talk about. I don't know if you really heard anything about this, but the Blackhawks had an open position for GM, and after doing a lot of interviews, they decided they found their guy, and all of that for Kyle Davidson.
The guy they had all along.
The entire time. But yeah, so the Blackhawks named Kyle Davidson the 10th GM in franchise history. I almost said NHL history. In franchise history, he takes over.
That's the same.
What?
Franchise history and NHL history. He's the 10th Blackhawks GM.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
it's the same history.
It's not the correct way to say it, but it's fair. Okay,
yeah, that's true.
I'll take it.
It sounds weird.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy that he's the 10th. There's been 10.
Yeah, so in almost 100 years, they've only had 10 GMs.
So like average like tenure for GMs at this point is like just under 10 years, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts. But before we kind of like talk about what was said in his introduction and kind of like what's come out since he's been named, let's get your first initial reaction. What was your mindset when you heard Kyle Davidson got the official job? Any concerns, anything you're looking forward to? What's in the mind of Tanner about this situation?
I think I'm just like, I'm cool with it. Like, I think mainly after like talking about it for a couple of weeks, I was really into what I can't remember the guy's name now, but the guy from Carolina, Tulski. Just because of what Carolina's been doing, but like that doesn't really translate into immediate success or like what's going to happen. I think it's good to see Davidson actually get the job because he has been around the Blackhawks organization for a good amount of time. So he does know everybody in the organization. He already has like respect.
He's been with the team since 2013.
I'm sure he knows the players very well already. So he has probably a general idea of like which direction he wants to take this team in. Like he's probably had that idea for the past few years. Yeah. So now that he gets to have like full reins of the team, I think that will really these next coming weeks leading up to the trade deadline, we'll see what he's up to. Hopefully it's no longer bringing back old players, trading away young defensive prospects for like overage guys that cost too much and just hanging around near the salary cap like limit all the time. And I don't know. I know that like he said that he said rebuild, which I agree. Like we all know that we should have been in the rebuild currently, but Bowman was trying to save his job by making a lot of big moves this past summer, which kind of set us back again.
We stuck with the plan to rebuild. We probably would be looking at coming out of it right now.
I mean, if they went and did the rebuild when they should have done it, which was a few years ago, rather than claiming to do the rebuild last year at the beginning of the shortened season, we could be on the way out of it at this point. But no, now we're kind of in a weird middle ground where we have extensions signed to guys that we probably don't need during a rebuild. Guys like Connor Murphy and Jake McCabe. Like those are guys that you are coming out of a rebuild with, you know, like those are like the solid defensive guys that you have in the top four. But like if we're going rebuild, these guys are going to be making at least $4 million for the next 4 years. They're 27, 26, 28-ish years old. Like
McCabe and Murphy are both 28 years old.
Yeah.
Murphy.
That's like the perfect age for guys that you get prospects and picks for, not guys that you sign to 4-year deals before, like you sign extensions for. Like that's not what you do.
The time frame too, he said 3 to 5 years potentially. Like they're not going to know exactly how long until it's going to be done, but he says like it's going to be, you know, if it takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, he goes, the plan is to stick with the plan, not get away from it, and do this right so that they can have consistent winning hockey again in Chicago.
The guys that you are only giving extensions to are the young guys that are going to be the core, which is basically Doc DeBrincat and Hagel. If you can keep around like the young utility guys like Kurashev and I don't know, like Stillman, Caleb Jones, like those guys, if you can keep them on like decent contracts, those guys you sign extensions for, or you just get rid of them. But like you shouldn't be keeping McCabe, you shouldn't be keeping Murphy. Dahan, we know, is probably going to be traded at the deadline. Tyler Johnson, another guy that like should be moved in like a year or two, depending on if he's healthy. But yeah, it's good to like kind of know, like he's like, okay, this is what we're doing. All right, great. Right. We have a direction. That's perfect. And I think he mentioned that like Taze and Kane aren't going anywhere, which I'm completely fine with because I think that they're still like the heart and soul of the team.
He didn't necessarily say they aren't going anywhere. He kind of put it out there that they are going to have a say in what's going on. But yeah, I'm not buying the whole necessarily like, oh, they're here to stay, they're here, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was smart with the way he said that. Like he didn't come out and say, oh, they're not going anywhere. He said that they're going to be informed, they're going to be kept up to speed about what the plans are and how it is, and then they're going to listen to them and see what they want to do. I am very happy. Like I'm not saying very happy. I'm happy about Kyle Davidson. I kind of liked it when he got named interim because, you know, he's kind of like the future GM type of situation with, he looks at the analytics of hockey. He looks at all the stuff that, you know, the old school guys don't really pay attention to. And clearly it shows what the issue is. My only concern, and it's hearing him in the conference, his conference went down a little bit, is he still learned under Bowman. And that scares me a little bit. I'm not saying like he's going to be a Stan Bowman type of guy, but he learned from Bowman. Like,
right. But
and that's a little,
he could also probably be the guy that's like, I don't know why he made that move.
Right. Exactly.
Like that was kind of a dumb move. Or like certain things, I think like maybe even the Gaudette trade, the Kajula trade, like those were good trades. But like the Nylander for Jokiharju trade, like that's bad. Like hopefully he's able to separate and be like, I never would have made those moves, or like those were actually like good moves and stuff. Like he's not just going to be like a clone.
I hope, and that's why I'm really excited to see what happens in 19 days at the trade deadline, and this upcoming offseason, and kind of see where his mindset is with it. Because you know what, you learn from Bowman. You're around him for as many years as you were. Like you're gonna pick up stuff, and I hope what he picked up was in the terms of what not to do, and not in terms of, okay, well, here's my safety net. This is what Stan did.
Yeah, no, I hope that maybe like for some of the deals that were being made, he might have been like pulling his hair out like behind the scenes, just like, why the fuck is this guy doing this? Or especially like maybe some draft picks that he, you know, just, I don't know, we'll see. But like we had mentioned before, it's good to see like there's somebody in the head seat now, and they have a vision, and I want to see like how they implement that. And like you said, it's going to be exciting to see what happens in these next like 19 days until we get to the trade deadline, and what kind of moves are made. Like, is he able to get a first round pick back? Like that would be great. If not, like hopefully, I know our scouts are pretty great in Europe, so hopefully we're able to pull that one kid from the KHL, and maybe there's some other like hidden gems that we might be able to grab too. That like if we don't get a first round pick, that's not the end of the world. Not every team does great with first round picks, Edmonton Oilers, and it really depends on if you're listening to your guys or not.
It might not hurt too to have your first draft not have a first round pick. Take the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it would take the pressure off a bit, but I think having the trade pieces that we do have, like not being able to get a first round pick, might be kind of shitty. But going into that though too, we had some more information about like Fleury. Like he's more than likely going to be staying. He would like to stay, and it kind of makes sense that, like we mentioned before, like there's no real fit for him on any team that like he would want to go to, and then the teams that would need him, he doesn't want to go to.
Right. Yeah. And then we kind of were talking about this in text last night, that it's probably the only team that would make sense would be Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And unless you see like Jari go down with an injury,
it's not going to happen.
Pittsburgh making it happen just for the nostalgia effect of it. I think one of the teams I had mentioned to you was Toronto. Like,
yeah,
if they're really wanting to make it out of the first round, like Fleury is somebody they should be probably trying to go after, because even though Jack Campbell has had an amazing season, he's been pretty mediocre lately, but he's been so overworked this year because Mrazek was injured for a part of it, I think, or he was on COVID. And Mrazek just hasn't been like a good 1B kind of situation guy this year. I think he's only hovering around like sub 900 save percentage.
He has played 38 games. 37
Mrazek?
games started. No, sorry, Jack Campbell.
Oh, yeah, okay.
38 games played. He started 37 of them. 23, 8 in 4. 917 save percentage right now.
Yeah, he's still having a good like his stats are still good because of the beginning of the season.
The last 3 games, he has put up of 800 save percentage, 867 save percentage, 848 save percentage, 5 goals against, 4 goals against, 5 goals against.
Yeah. He's been getting lit up. So, and this is the bad time of year to like have that happen. Leading into the trade deadline, you don't want to be looking like you're declining going into the end of the season, because that's going to put a lot of panic into the team. But the other problem is Kyle Dubas came out and said he is not going to move a first round pick. He's not going to move some of like their big prospects. And it's just like, okay,
I know we're in hot stock, but that's surprising to me, because you have to feel like this is a do or die year for Dubas and this team. Like the continued failures in the playoffs, like you think that if it happens again, you have to think they're changing something up.
I think that's like what it's felt like the last 2 years is like, if it happens again, you got to change something, but they haven't. They keep acquiring pieces, and then you think that they got it, and then it just falls apart again.
We'll give you Marc-Andre and your 3rd round pick back. You give us your 1st round. We'll take Jack Campbell. We'll get him ready for the rebuild. Throw him Bunting. Why not?
Yeah, right. Kid's having a good year.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the Hawks. So for the draft right now, they have 1 2nd round pick. They got 3 3rds, a 4th, 2 6, and a 7. I think you're looking at probably another 3rd or 4th, possibly probably a 5th for Ryan Carpenter type of player.
I think Carpenter gets better than a 5th. He's the kind of guy that really really solidifies a bottom 6 on a lot of teams because of how he plays. I think he's going to be like a sneaky 4th or 3rd.
Oh,
but we watch him so often though. He doesn't always hit the score sheet, but you notice him when he's on the ice. Like he's amazing, and I hope we could get him back. But honestly, if we're doing a rebuild, it would be another 1-year deal, and then maybe move him at the deadline again, help us out again.
I'm still convinced DeHaan can get us at least a first round pick, if not at least a 2nd round, maybe a 2nd and a 3rd.
We mentioned before, just like David Savard is literally the exact same situation, almost the exact same salary. And then same age, very defensive player, blocks a lot of shots. I think he could get obviously it would be a late 1st rounder with salary retained.
Yeah.
Get a Calvin DeHaan at 2.75. I mean,
Not
if
bad.
you throw a third team in there like Arizona, eat some of that cap, you get them at like a little over $1 million. That's not bad. Going to a deep cup run.
Kubalik, that's a guy too that I'm kind of like, I'm a little torn on what value he has because he's had a down year,
Yeah.
but you also see the potential, like what he could be,
Yeah.
and the fact that he's an RFA.
I think he can get a second for sure.
Yeah, that's like, I saw people saying like a third or a fourth, but I'm like, I'm leaning more towards a second, third.
I'm thinking a second, or I mean, I could see a third and a fourth together,
Both of them, yeah.
like multi drafts or multi draft picks. But like a second would be great. I don't know.
There's gonna be a lot of so it's gonna be like I know we're gonna be getting a lot of draft picks, I think, for this year, next year. Because I think we're gonna be taking on some 1-year deals for the rest of the year for salary cap dump.
I think it makes sense if like they go back into doing what they planned on doing during the rebuild and like taking players like Brett Connolly who have some salary but aren't really playing up to that, and that way they can get like a prospect or a pick with it. Just fill up on prospects like
Oh my god, he's got 1 more year.
Brett Connolly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what?
God.
It's not like we're competing next year.
No, I know. It's just like so.
And if the Hawks are able to like maybe open a spot up for him on the actual squad, and maybe next season he gets a few goals, gets a little trade value, he gets moved at the deadline too. He gets 50% retained, and somebody gets Brett Connolly for 1.75.
Or he gets called up and you just murder somebody on the sideboard and
Yeah, he fucking, oh my god. I did not know that Connolly could do that, but it's crazy. I'm wondering if Dylan Strome gets moved. I honestly think over the past like month that he might just be worth holding on to, because I think that his trade value can only go up, and he's been playing decently with Kane. Like it's pretty easy when all you have to do is just get the puck up and then not lose it. He does that okay. And then him, DeBrincat, and Kane is just not bad, man. Like
I'm still not a Sherm guy, but
yeah.
knowing that we're in a rebuild now and games really aren't going to matter at this point.
Right.
All right. Why not?
Like, why not have them just keep developing?
Yeah, like you said too.
No point.
I mean, the worst case scenario, you hold on to these guys, they turn it up again, and boom, that's trade value. More trade value there.
I don't think he's gonna fall off a cliff. It's been like we've seen that he gets like nowadays he's getting a little bit more consistency playing with like top guys. Like he hasn't been bad. I mean, the team's been bad at times, and he's been a part of that. But like when the team is playing well, like he is also playing well. He's kind of very go with the flow of the team. But yeah, like we'll see what happens. There's guys that I think are young that we might be able to move. Like I see Philip Kurashev as being a part of the team, but if a team comes out and like it's like, oh, yo, we'll give you a second for Kurashev, then I'd be like, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, everybody. Yeah, I mean everybody. In my mind, unless you're Doc, DeBrincat, or Hagel, I think everybody you listen to on deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, that includes Kane, that includes Taves, that
I think maybe your young defensemen are the guys you hold on to as well, because you want them to develop. But even I think as young or as old, I guess, like Caleb Jones, you listen on, like he's only 24, he's still an RFA, but like if somebody wants to get him, it's like, yeah, go ahead. Like we already have Seth Jones. We don't have to like entice him to come to the fucking Hawks anymore.
Are you sold on Seth Jones staying?
Yeah, I don't see how they move him.
Say he gets calls. They get calls about his availability. Is it somebody you're like, yeah, we should move him, or no, we need to hold on to him type of player?
I think we hold on to him because it's the same. Well, I think that he's the guy that you build around on the back end. He's like he's our top defenseman. It's going to be him, Hagel, DeBrincat, and Doc. You know, like these are the guys that should be here in the next 5 years when the team should be playing better and competing. It's harder since he's 27 and the other three guys are 23, 24, 21.
How pissed do you think Seth Jones is getting probably sold and coming out here long term and essentially get thrown right back into a Columbus situation?
I don't know. He's probably not exactly too happy, but he's going to be making 9.5
I say you
and
got
he's going to be living in
9.5 million
Chicago.
reasons.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see who else on this team really. I still think Lankinen you keep.
I don't know. I think Lincoln and you move.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do in the back end then?
I think you just sign guys in the off season. You get fucking whoever. I don't think Lincoln's a long term kind of guy. Like
Wow.
he's good at being a backup. I think. I mean, even when he came back from injury recently, like we haven't even talked about the games, but 8-5 against New Jersey, he hasn't had like a great season. He only had like a good beginning of the season last year.
That also was his first game back. Let's be fair there. Is also not playing as much as he did before. So he's not, hasn't had the same amount of reps he has had the year before.
Yeah. But
and also the team isn't playing great in front of him. They're not giving him much help.
Yeah, I know. But I still don't think he's like the long-term like solution. I think you're just filling gaps until somebody like Comesso comes up.
I was just about to say
able to make his like name known, but that's like 3 to 5 years from now,
which is the end of the potential rebuild. Like,
that's what you're hoping for. Like you're trying to acquire like possible like real like good goaltenders, and Lankinen, I guess you can hold on to. Like he's probably not going to be super expensive, but I don't see him being like the guy that leads us into the playoffs like 3 or 4 years from now.
Marc-Andre 1 year, 3.75.
Yeah, I mean
next year.
Yeah, if you want, or if he wants to like be very valuable trade bait, but I don't know how he comes back and doesn't make at least 7 when he's carrying the team.
He's pretty much said though, like it's pretty much that next year is probably going to be his last year.
Yeah.
So you think he's just going to want to go to just stick around, play his career out? Because he's been known not to, like I said, he doesn't want to move his family all the different places. And
I think if he does anything, he's going to say and like sign like league minimum in Pittsburgh. I could see that happening.
That'd be kind of cool. I still think, hey, we are the only team that didn't do you dirty. So I mean, you should just finish it out here.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just want the trade deadline to happen so we can kind of like see everything. Also, I hate the fact that like on everybody's like trade bait boards, like they got Hagel up there.
God,
like,
it is so frustrating. Like he's not going anywhere. And if he does, you need to fire Davidson right now. He'll be the shortest tenure GM in Blackhawk history.
On to the next one.
Like I don't understand why people are just so convinced he's going to get traded. And I will save this clip. I will mark it for when he does get traded in 19 days. But I don't understand why people think that they would even consider moving him at this point. Like he's a team you build around. Derek King was like talking about how this is a guy that your team is built around. Like he's the type of player you have to have. Yeah, you hold on to this type of guy. Like I don't understand why this rumor keeps going out, and I hate the fact that it hasn't been like shot down. Really?
Yeah.
Like that's makes me very nervous.
Oh, all right. Well,
I just love too, like Hagel said when he was during an interview about that, they asked him, he's like, say something along the lines of like, I don't know, I was drafted for like in the 6th round, or I wasn't drafted, or I forgot whatever he was drafted. And he goes,
6th round.
Yeah, and now I'm being supposedly shopped for this. He goes, makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes you feel pretty good. Getting like hearing that I'm getting a 1st rounder and a prospect, it's like not too bad for a 6th round guy that didn't get signed by the team that drafted him.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I think it's insane that like Buffalo just decided not to give him a contract, even though he was playing for the Red Deer Rebels and ended up setting the career high in assists for their team, their franchise team, or their franchise.
What a Buffalo move.
Yeah, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love the fact I don't even know what draft he was, but
It was 2016.
2016. All right, who
Yeah.
else was? All right, I'm gonna do a quick check real fast. Yep, Alex Nylander, same draft. Buffalo was like, that's our first round pick. That's the guy we're signing, and then Hagel has tons more value than him at this point. Oh man.
I just saw something on it was his Alex Nylander's birthday, and he's only 20. He's like, here's the 24. And I was like, oh shit. He's still young. Really young, but
I'm really glad that we got Lafferty out of that deal at least. He's not bad, man. I can see
the guy I kind of wish they would
him
sign.
You wish that they would sign him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see them moving him at the deadline though too. Like he's playing decent. Like when he's out there. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you just but sticking with like this whole Kyle Davidson conversation and all that. So we kind of mentioned a little earlier about Kane and Taves just kind of coming up to them. Taves spoke with the media today and pretty much just hit home that he loves Chicago. Chicago's his home. He wants to be here.
Taves said that or Kane said that?
Did I say Taves or Kane? I meant to say so I meant Kane. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I said Kane. But yeah, but he's just saying Chicago's been good to his family. The organization has been good to him and his family and all this, and that he wants to be here. But he goes, at the end of the day, he knows that it's a business and it's extremely rare to play for one franchise your entire career. He goes, he would love to do that because it would be an absolute honor to do that. And yeah, I mean, it's so hard to picture him on another team.
Yeah.
Even that amazing edit I sent you, sent you guys. That was the greatest thing ever. Like I found this picture of Kane in a Buffalo Sabres jersey, like perfect. It was an awesome edit. And I sent it to our group chat and instantly Tanner was like, is this really how I'm starting my day? I got to fuck you, Jarom. I'm just like,
this is not how I wanted to wake up.
It was just awesome. Like just instant negative reaction yelling at me, but it was like, he did look pretty good in a Buffalo jersey. I will say that. Not saying I want to see it. He could pull it off.
It's just, there's no way that team ends up playing better by the end of his career than the Hawks do. So like, I don't think that ever happens.
Blackhawks will come back and win a Stanley Cup before Buffalo sees another winning season.
Yeah. I think like I want Kane to play in Chicago for the rest of his career because I would love to see him be the franchise leader in points. And just like break records. And that'd be amazing. Become like obviously the greatest of all time for American born players while still wearing a Hawks jersey.
Yeah. I mean, he already is though, but
yeah, but like have it be like leader in points for like of everybody American. Yeah. That would be great. But also like you said, like it is a business and the return that the Hawks could get on him to kind of accelerate the rebuild would be insane. And yeah, like it's hard. I don't want to see him go, but like obviously, like if you're saying rebuild and you have Patrick Kane and I don't know, man, like you go, hey, what would you give me for Patrick Kane? And they go, here's an entire farm. And you go, okay, great. I think we can build off of that. Like, yeah. I would hate to see him go.
When the rumors earlier in the year came out that the Rangers were interested in him, people were saying that he wasn't worth anything that was being proposed.
Yeah, but because people don't know shit. Oh my god, dude, Kaner in a Rangers uniform with Panarin would be sick. That would be so fucking good. But like that's one of those things where like you can get prospects and picks and maybe a goalie for the near future, and like that kind of helps the rebuild a little bit quickly.
So this is what
do you do that? Like it, you know, would also be really crazy if King gets moved before the trade deadline. There is a planned night, like Star Wars night or something like that, with a Patrick Kane giveaway. If they still did a Patrick Kane like T-shirt giveaway for Star Wars night or whatever, and he's not even on the team anymore.
If that happens, then Davidson is Bowman 2.0. That is a Bowman move right there.
I mean, he isn't the one that came out with the promotion.
But no, so here's my thing, my argument against why you need to just hold Kane. If Kane wants to stay, why you just hold him with this is because you don't know what these draft picks and prospects are going to turn out to be. You know what Kane's going to be. You know what you have in Kane. You know what he can bring to our already what we have in our system and mentoring and, bringing up and being around the guys. Like Kane's the kind of guy that you want your young players to be around and to learn from.
Yeah.
I rather it goes back to what we were talking about with the Hagel trade. Like, oh, you can have Hagel or you can have the mystery bots where you might get a Hagel. It's like you can have Kane or you can have this, mystery bots of potential prospects that could turn out to be good. And it's like, well, you know what? I'd rather keep Kane and let him mentor and try to help develop these players into the right kind of player, like what they need to be successful in this league.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Here's the thing, though. 10 years down the line, I don't really know if Kaner's going to be here. Whereas if you traded Kane, then you more than likely have like the picks and prospects or something from that, like from a trade tree where you start with Kane, like a Kane trade. You have whatever picks and prospects we get, and however we move them around or do whatever we do with them is going to be a lot more productive for the team 8 to 10 years from now than just keeping Kaner for the rest of his career. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah. But
so like short term, absolutely. Kane, I love him. I want him to stay. But long term, it's like you should move him. His value is only going to be declining, possibly, and maybe very little in the short term, but like 3 or after his contract's up, like maybe it just keeps going down. You never know. The team's not going to be playing like super great. I don't know if he's going to be staying up above a point per game. I would love that, but especially 5 years down the line and we're doing much better and competing and he's still here being a leader, like that'd be really cool.
So you're almost necessarily have to say, if you're going to trade Kane, you should probably do it by the deadline or before next season.
Yeah.
Like this is probably the window to move him. Maybe next deadline, it might be like Hoop fans, the latest offer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is too good to pass up. I'm talking between the legs, 360 windmill good. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still take your shot at big payday. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy basketball contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and older. Location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full list of requirements and state specification responsibilities. Gambling resources void where prohibited. Minimum $5 deposit. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. If he's still on the Hawks past next year's trade deadline, I think he's a life Hawk.
Can you imagine the trade value he has though at 50% retained for the rest of this season and on a whole another season?
Why would you retain 50% to move Kane?
Because you can get a fuck ton of shit. Because if you have Kane on your team at only 5.25, then
dude, they better be
so many things around him, and we only have to deal with 5.25 for an extra year. Like that's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but I also don't think it's realistic. I don't think there is a trade that we're not feeling completely fucked on. Like I feel like if you are offering up a Kane right now, who, yeah, he's having a down year, but is still.
It's not even having a down year.
Right, yeah. But it's like a Kane who is still at the top of his game at half of his salary for a year, like a season and a quarter, whatever is left.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there is just like I don't even, I can't even fathom like what that try to return would be. Like that's obnoxious. That's like obnoxious. That is like
at least a first.
Dude, you're talking two first,
A plus prospect.
One of your top 3 prospects, like in your system. Maybe 2 of your top prospects.
Yeah.
Like that's
a speedy rebuild. I'll tell you what.
That's like if you're going if we're taking with the Rangers, that's like Lafreniere and Capo Caco.
Yeah. But I don't think they'd want to give that up. I mean, I would love it, but they're just out of a rebuild currently, so I don't know if they want to be like, okay, let's get rid of this.
Man, dude, you got me excited for the return, like, but it's also just like I don't even think like it's like, oh, okay, what's the value of that return? The number doesn't exist. Like there is
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't
Shout
exist.
out Mean Girls, what up?
it just doesn't. I don't even know if the value exists there.
It's like a close to. I honestly, in my own head, it's like a close to Lindros like deal where you get like 6 players in picks and money, and it's like. But that's just because like I hold Kaner in such a high regard
but I think you do. You're supposed to, like, you have to.
Yeah, I mean he's been one of the top 5 players for over a decade. So.
It's not like he's Taves where his production is just gone to fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean he's typically always out there. He's really only injured maybe 5 games at the most in a season, besides like the 1 year when we ended up winning the cup because he was on injured reserve and we were over the cap. No big deal.
What up, Vegas, Tampa.
Yeah, right. But yeah.
Oh man. That's I don't know. Like I'm just
you're daydreaming about the kind
of
like
I'm just I return. Totally like I was had something else, but now I'm just like completely like lost now what I was gonna say because like that's just I can't fathom that. Oh no, that's what I was saying. It's like you're looking at almost like an offer sheet, like a max contract offer sheet type of return.
Yeah, four firsts
plus players.
Yeah. Well,
you're gonna have non-Hawks fans listen to this, being like, "You guys are fucking morons."
Yeah, absolutely. It just
let's hear. Let's hear what you would trade, what your team would give up to have Patrick Kane. And I guarantee right now,
50% retained.
I guarantee right now, you're bullshitting. Doesn't no. Oh, what are you gonna offer? Nope, decline. Not
it's
enough.
Crazy because like people always have like less value towards players than GMs do. Because they're not fans of these players most of the time, and they're just like, oh, I wouldn't give up that much for that guy. But it's like GMs know like how much a guy is actually worth because they're just like they fucking hear about it. It's their job.
Oh, Patrick Kane sucks because he's on TV all the time. Yeah, he's the top American player in hockey history. He deserves to be on TV all the time. The Blackhawks were the best team in the NHL for what was that, 8 years span? Yeah, they deserve to be on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, the league doesn't know. Sorry, the league doesn't know how to market McDavid or any of those other guys. Sorry.
Right,
you want it? Trade McDavid to a team that's going to be on TV.
Yeah,
boom. Edmonton Oilers. McDavid for Kane straight up. I'll call it a day.
No, trade him to LA. Do another King's ransom.
Oh my God. History repeats itself. That would be amazing.
That would be so funny. Yeah. Did you want to talk about the games at all?
Yeah, we'll get there real quick. But since we're kind of talking about like the future of the franchise real quick, they've been on this like tour of, commentators and and play-by-play and all that kind of stuff throughout the season. It's been a fucking disaster. And there was one thing that everybody was kind of hoping for, that Weidman was going to take over for Foley. Well, good news. He's not. And he's actually going to call less games on the radio next season. So
just what everybody wanted.
What is like, what are they doing? Like, what is like?
They're really trying to change everything, but I don't know. All right.
I can't watch I can't watch games with that Colby guy. I can't do it.
he hasn't been like calling games really. He's been doing like intermission reports and stuff, which has been much better than I hear his voice every time. But
it's just when he's part of like the color or whatever, he is just talking about himself and how like the player he used to be and how wasn't good at hockey or he's not good at hockey anymore. Blah blah blah. It's like, dude,
I can go do that.
Up.
That'd be great.
I don't know what they're gonna do there. Real quick too. Well, I guess we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, let's talk about the games.
Yeah, dude. Talk about the games.
Yeah, I don't even have them pulled up because I completely forgot hockey.
There was only 2 games since the last time we chatted. There was the Lankinen's first game back off of IR, which I mentioned briefly, but the 8-5 game against the Devils, where double Hattie night in the UC.
What up?
Got Brandon Hagel and Patty Kane, which is really funny because I think I went to the game where Kaner got the hat trick earlier in the year against Ottawa, and Hagel had 2 goals that game too.
Yeah,
and I think he just missed on a Hattie, and so it was good. It was pretty funny to see that this time he got to finish his hat trick alongside Kane as well.
And the cool stat about that is it's the last time that the Blackhawks had 2 hat tricks in one night was March 9th, 2003, and it was 2002 All-Star MVP Eric Daze and Steve Sullivan, who still has probably one of the greatest fan interaction videos in hockey history.
Yeah. Kirby Dach also scored a pretty nasty goal this game.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Looked off a 2-on-1, looked off the pass, and just forehand, backhand. See you later, Gillies.
I honestly didn't watch. Like, I saw him with the puck on a 2-on-1, and I turned away because I'm like, oh, he's just gonna pass and fuck it up. So I'm
glad that he's showing more confidence in taking shots, which is good. And then the other game that the Hawks had was a pretty brutal game against the Blues. And it's just so frustrating because Bennington's having not a great season, and he's got 2 shutouts this year, and they're both against the fucking Hawks, man. Oh,
real quick, back to the other game though. I know we talked about before we started recording that we weren't going to talk about PK Sluban. But how about Hagel scoring the hat trick goal and then immediately fighting PK?
Yeah, or attempting to fight
him. Yeah.
And then just like skates off and throws the hands up.
Yeah. God. You want to trade him, you fuckers.
No. He scores, he fights, he hits. He's great.
Everything a hockey player should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that game on Sunday was not good at all.
Yeah, it was upsetting. I just hate losing to St. Louis so much. But coming up, hey, big night when this podcast gets released. Oilers are in town. It's Duncan Keith's first game back in Chicago.
It's really insulting that you put that first because I feel like it.
But you saved the best for last.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, proceed.
So it's also going to be Nicholas Hjalmarsson. Is he doing like the one last shift thing, or is it just
no? It's like it's a legacy night. So kind of
legacy night.
You saw like Andrew Shaw, so they'll probably do like just like honor him on the ice and all that kind of stuff. They had like a huge like mural or like 65 or I can't remember exactly what they did, but they had like all this cool like presentation for him.
I want to see it so bad, so I hope it's because I just get to watch Hawks games on ESPN Plus now, and I hope they really start the broadcast early enough that I can catch it, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Hopefully they'll post it on, I'm sure they'll have it on like the Hawks website or Instagram or anything.
Yeah, super.
But they also released like the CBH shop released a Hjalmarsson shirt, which is pretty sick. So I can't wait till that comes in the mail. I got one of those bad boys.
I wish they did it the way we do it though, with the HJAMMER instead of just Hammer.
It does say Hammer. I thought it said Hjalmarsson on it.
No, it says Hammer. Unless they changed it, like they uploaded the wrong graphic. I thought it said Hammer.
I thought it just said Hjalmarsson. Oh, it does say Hammer. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Should have said like Swedish missile defense system. That's one of my favorite.
But this is like one of those guys that absolutely deserves this night. And I'm so happy that they're honoring him. Like, I hate the way that he left the organization. I wish he could have finished his entire career in Chicago.
Man, he was just the backbone of the back end, like the most dependable defenseman I've ever seen. The greatest defensive defenseman I've ever seen. And it's insane that we were so lucky to have him on the team.
And here's the thing with him: when Siebes had to retire or whatever, people were saying like, "Oh, he's a great defenseman, but he's gonna get overshadowed because of Duncan Keith and all what Duncan Keith's done and all that." Yeah, that sucks for Siebes, but what really sucks is Hjalmarsson is gonna is just completely overshadowed by Siebes and Keith. And does not get the recognition that he deserves for what he did. Like you said, best defensive defenseman in NHL history. Like, I think like he will go down as the greatest defensive defenseman. And
he never really got the limelight in Chicago because of having these superstars like Keith, Kane, Taves, like even Sharpie, like Seabrook is probably one of the greatest like two-way kind of defenseman because he had some of the most clutch goals. He had some of the most amazing just stretch passes to players. Like, it's so key and intense and great leadership on the team as well. That's why he wore the A for a long time,
which is
too.
Funny too, though, bringing up Siebes right there is one of Siebes' best moments was scoring Game 7 against Detroit in overtime. And it was taken away from Hjalmarsson. Like, Hjalmarsson had that goal and it was taken back. So it's like, look at even he's getting overshadowed, and like Hjalmarsson's big moment right there to have his moment to be the hero.
Yeah.
Taken back and goes to Siebes.
God,
like that right there is just the story right there.
It was just watching Hjalmarsson in any game. Like, puck goes into the corner and he's coming out with it. There's like I remember seeing like a little highlight package where like he was stronger on the puck with one hand than most guys with two hands for some reason. Like, he would just like go in there and be like, pop, it's out, pop, it's out, pop, it's out. And like right in front of the net, then he's just blocking every shot possible. It was just, great defensive player. And oh my God, he's just so cool.
I am so excited to be there for that game tomorrow and to see all that live and just to experience that in person.
I hope that they have like okay footage and they show it in like whatever tribute package of his first NHL goal ever, because it is sick. It's a fucking give and go to Marty Havlat through the neutral zone. He crosses the blue line like 1-on-2 and just tees up a fucking clapper that goes bar down against Detroit. And it's so goddamn nasty. And I hope that they show it. But it's like such a hard video to find. But it's so good. It's like one of the best videos.
Do you think they include in the package that they did when he came back for the first time that he cried he'd get off the ice, where he's singing Rise Against? Does that get put into the package again?
I don't know. Maybe that'd be pretty funny. I mean, God, I wish I could be there for that. Like, that was the game that I had circled like right away when the schedule came out.
Oh, as soon as they announced it, we've been talking about this game since they announced it, and then it was like just a bonus that it's Keith's first game back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I hope fucking Kane dummies him, makes him look stupid out there.
Yeah, I hope he just doesn't fall into the boards and break a hip again. I love him. It's pretty funny that the Oilers put out a video today of Keith returning to the United Center for like whatever like practice skate that they had, and all the players like had their sticks up in like crossing as he like goes through the tunnel. It was pretty funny. I really enjoyed that one. And they had like DK taped up on the wall and number 2 taped on the wall, and then they made like a little runway like to his like stall with like Red Bulls and Gatorades. It's like, what the fuck is this?
I wonder, like, I know it's a weird feeling. Like, I can't imagine how weird and like uncomfortable that feels, like going back into that stadium on the visitor side. Like, that's just got to be like the most awkward feeling. Not
After almost like 18, 20
like
years,
you spent your entire career. Yeah, your entire adult life. Like,
he's going to the visiting locker room for like the first time ever, just being like, God, what the fuck is this place?
Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah. So, also what's big about tomorrow's game is that you're potentially going to see the return of Jonathan Taves and Tyler Johnson.
Or
Johnson
one or the other.
one or the other. Taves was removed from concussion protocol, and has been looking good. Coach King said it's basically how he's feeling. Tyler Johnson's been cleared to play for a little while now. It's just more of the same, just kind of getting conditioning back in and getting in shape. Derek King said that it is the game plan right now for both of them to get in the lineup, but it will ultimately depend on how they're feeling. It'll be great to see those guys back in. Nice to remember that Tyler Johnson is on this team. I completely forget about him all the time, but
see where he fits in the lineup, see who comes out.
And the last thing I have for Hot Stock was the article you sent.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick, Chara surpassed Chelios for most games played by a defenseman, which is pretty cool. But yes, okay. But yeah, then there was a Chicago Sun-Times article written by Ben Pope that was about Alex Vlasic and how he's developing at Boston University. And God, man, I like we mentioned before, like we kind of forgot that he was one of the guys that we have. He's a big fucking kid. He's 6'6", and he's getting, in the article, it just talks about how he's getting more used to and kind of filling out a little bit more. Like he's sitting at about 212 currently. And like I said, he's 6'6", and he's just been manhandling college players. It even goes into say that he realized what he's capable of by being kicked out of a game against like ASU or something when he went into the corner and didn't mean to like hit this kid super hard. And then, but he ended up like really fucking somebody up, and he's like, oh yeah, I guess I can do that. He's gotten like, and he's apparently just gotten more used to just like, he had been always focused on like his skating and stick skills. And now he's getting more used to like being like, oh yeah, I am a pretty big fucking guy. And he's able to just move people wherever and whenever he wants. And it's like, yeah, man, we could really use somebody that's just a massive guy that can sit in front of the net, get guys out of there, also go into the corners and come out with the puck, lay the body, fucking, oh man, I'm very excited to see what this kid can do. And it's going to be good if the Hawks, do an anti-Bowman and hold on to their defensive prospects instead of getting rid of them. So
let them develop.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we picked him up in the second round. Forgot what year was it, 2018, 2019?
I think so.
And he gets drafted and just kind of gets forgotten about, and that's probably the best case scenario.
2019.
Yeah, let the kid develop, let him, find his game and all that, which sounds like he is. So, he again is another guy that's going to be primed for, being a huge part of this team going forward. And it just kind of like what we said,
he could be a big piece of the rebuild.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like goes to show, like, hopefully the Hawks are doing the anti-Bowman now where they hold on to the defensive prospects, because it's just proof that forwards, I think, develop faster. You got to look on your face.
I'm just thinking about like 2 to 4 years down the line, and if he's able to make an impact in the NHL, a fucking defensive pairing of him and Seth Jones. Oh, you get Vlasic playing the defensive role, like very defensive role in front of the net. Like I said, he's 6'6". Seth Jones is 6'5". That's a big fucking pairing. And then just like
big boys.
Oh, that's that'd be great.
So,
but I'm getting all hyped up on like prospects all the time.
I know. I want to get like NHL, NHL 20 or 22 mode and just like sim the next like 3 years and just like, let's go.
Let's see how they go. Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Hawk Talk?
No, that's it.
All right. So we'll go through NHL talk really quick. Just because, it's kind of what everybody expects of what's going on in the hockey world right now with everything going on over in Ukraine with Russia. It's a lot of shit going on, and it's kind of like, I've been trying to figure out how I want to like address this and talk about it, but I kind of mentioned it earlier where it's the fallout from it. You're seeing a lot of decisions being made that you kind of wonder if it's the right move, if it's too much, if it's not enough. So for example, you have CCM refusing to use Ovechkin or any other Russian athletes for marketing.
Yeah,
The NHL,
global marketing.
global marketing, NHL has taken Russia out of any consideration for future games. They've suspended the Russian digital media site for the NHL. The IIHF has banned Russia and Belarus from international play and has pulled out the World Juniors from next season out of Russia.
Aren't
CHL,
they not? They're not going to be a part of World Juniors like this summer, aren't they?
right? It's like they're banned. I don't know if they said just this year, but they're right now. They're banned from international play like all levels.
Jesus. Yeah.
CHL is not drafting any Russian-born players or Belarus players. You got former players like Dominic Hasek calling out that to go the true extreme of about suspending Russian contracts, not allowing them to
Oh,
play in the NHL, that's absolutely ridiculous. I get what he's saying, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, that's not going to happen either.
Yeah.
That's good. That's literally lawsuit waiting to happen if that was even mentioned by anybody else.
You have one agent saying that he's called NHL teams with Russian players for more security because his players that he represents have been threatened, and you
Jesus.
know, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting crazy, and
Teams pulling out of the KHL,
yeah, teams pull out of KHL.
NHL,
Players
or like non-Russian players that are on KHL teams, like leaving those teams.
are bailing. Yeah,
Yeah.
which smart thing to do. I mean, you know what's going on over there. It's just scary times, weird times, and it kind of like again, it goes on the border of like what's right, what's wrong. With all these actions, it's like when you think about it, it's you're punishing a lot of people that don't deserve to be punished.
Right.
But at the same time, you're hoping by doing this, you're causing these people to start an uprising and try to like go against their government, which I don't know if Putin's the guy you want to go against. Like,
Yeah. And then we're no longer talking hockey at this point.
yeah, and
If we're gonna go that.
no, yeah, I'm just saying though, it's
Oh
like
yeah,
what you're
no, I
asking,
know, I
yeah,
know.
what you're asking from these players and all that. Oh yeah, and EA Sports pulling all Russian teams out of
Mm-hmm.
all their games. Like, it sucks. I
Yeah.
feel for all these people.
When EA is coming to take a stance, you fucked up.
It only took them how long to take care of like ESHL with all the
I don't
racist
even know if
stuff.
they have done that. I just don't play online anymore.
I just remember them putting like last year they had like a
Yeah.
thing you had to hit eight, like go through it every
Every
time.
every single time, like through the menu. Yeah, I don't know if they might still have that or not.
Yeah, but like it's insane, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens down the line with Russian hockey, and if this is gonna change, kind of go back to the days before Russian players
I
were
was
allowed to
gonna
play.
say, yeah, it's gonna be like in the '90s when you don't really want to draft Russian players too high because you don't know if they're gonna actually come over to the NHL. It's gonna be pretty weird. And you get somebody like Sergei Fedorov, who like Detroit ends up picking up in like the 5th or 6th round, and you're like, God fucking damn it.
And then even Gretzky was talking about the World Juniors that these Russian players they shouldn't be allowed to play. This team shouldn't be allowed to play and all this kind of stuff to make a point and all that. And now my favorite conspiracy theory now is that Gretzky was just putting that out there. He's kind of inceptioning the idea of Russians not being allowed to play to try to get into Gary Bettman to put Ovechkin on the shelf to save his record. That's my new favorite conspiracy theory.
He's gonna have an asterisk next to his name just because it's gonna be Alex Ovechkin like goal record asterisk Russian.
Yeah.
What? Shouldn't be allowed. All right.
Yeah, I hope Ovechkin still is able to break it. I really do. And it was just really awkward watching he had a media session about it, talking about everything going on there, and it was just really uncomfortable watching him because his family's over there. His entire family's over there. He's close with Putin, and like he said, Putin's my president, all this kind of stuff. And it was just one of those non-win situations with Ovechkin where it's like no matter what he was going to say, it wasn't going to be good enough or wasn't going to be enough and all that kind of stuff.
There's tons of articles about his past with Putin and like things that he's come out to say, and like people saying that like whatever he's doing is just to save face and not really enough. Like he could cause a lot of change if he really decided to stand up and like denounce Putin and do this stuff. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, how do you get put in that situation? But also, I don't feel bad for him. Like, he's been so supportive and he's gained from it. So
he's probably he's probably seen Panarin's situation. Panarin is very outspoken, and I don't think Panarin's welcome back in Russia because of it. Like,
Panarin's loving New York.
Yeah, Panarin was very outspoken against the Russian government and Putin and all that kind of stuff. And now it's like he was threatening.
Yeah, he had to stop playing for like 10 games.
Yeah, because they were trying to frame him to get him back into Russia. So like all that kind of like it was insane. So it's like
wild.
It's a different world over. It's like it's a different world. Like people are like, oh no, that's not really how it is. No, I mean that's how it is over there. It's a different world. It's a different situation, and it's scary. And I really hope this finds a way to a peaceful resolution. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is going to get worse before it gets better, but hopefully hockey,
positive in the end.
Yeah, something, and we'll see. But yeah, I know we don't like to get political and all that kind of stuff on here, but that just was one of those things that you cannot not talk about.
Yeah, man.
But all right, I don't know if we really got anything else NHL talk.
Honestly, I don't even know if there's anything else that happened because of all this shit.
Yeah, but I mean, the main thing, you got 19 days until the trade deadline.
Turn the heat up.
We'll see what's going on. So yeah, let's just wrap this up then.
There hasn't been like any trades or anything. Yeah, nothing.
No, that I did. The most I've seen about it was like people talking. I don't know if it was John Scott or if it was like Biz or something talking about like this. Has there ever been a trade deadline with this many players that can make such a huge impact on a team being traded to? Like, has there ever been this many players available at once before? Because you got like Pavelski, Giroux, I'm drawing a blank on everybody else, but like I only named two, but like there's a lot of players out there that can make a difference, and it's just a huge huge deadline. I think
some players are dependent on whether or not they're getting extensions. Like, what was it? Pat Verbeek came out and said that in Anaheim, if he doesn't have an extension in place by the trade deadline for like Hampus Lindholm, Josh Manson, and like Rickard Rakell, he's like, those guys are getting fucking dealt. He goes, I am not giving away these players for nothing. So if they either have an extension in place, or if they don't, they're getting moved. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to just like not have somebody you would rather keep, and hopefully they sign in the off season. It's like, yeah, be smart, like get what you can for them. So you'll see stuff like that. Like, I think, what was it? Klingberg. I don't think he has an extension in place, and like Dallas might move him.
Yeah.
But Dallas is possibly in a playoff spot, but I don't see Dallas doing anything crazy.
I even think if they're in a playoff spot, they're going to move him because they're not going to be able to afford to re-sign him. So you might as well get something for him.
Yeah. Jake DeBrusk still has come out and said that his trade demand or request is still valid.
Yeah. I'm looking at the TSN's like trade board as of today. You got Chikrin, Giroux, Ben Sherratt, Klingberg, Giordano, DeBrusk, Justin Braun, Georgiev, Colin Miller, Raquel, Matt Stomey, Phil Kessel, Brandon Hagel.
I'm curious to see where Kessel goes.
I wish we were in a winning position because it'd be awesome just to pick him up this year, just so we can get the Kessel jersey and just call it a day.
Yeah.
God, that would be awesome.
Maybe next year.
And this is why I don't believe
1 year deal.
Yeah, this is why I don't believe this bullshit like TSN stuff, because they have Hagel at is the 13th most valuable player like on the trade board. Then they also have Toronto's first rounder, which has been said is not available.
Yeah.
Fuck TSN.
Whatever.
So, all right. So they'll wrap this up here. Episode 30. I'm sorry. Wow. Episode 30. No, episode 170.
Why the fuck do you even get 30?
Because I was just looking at 30. The 30th most valuable thing on the trade board is Buffalo's cap space. 31 is Arizona's cap space.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
So yeah, episode 170. Tanner, what do you want to call it?
It's
Hammer.
Huh?
Gotta be something for Hammer.
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna say it's like welcome back Hjammer. Like that's all you have to do.
Okay.
But with the J, you gotta put the J in there.
Correct way of doing it.
Yeah.
All right. So episode 170. Welcome back, Hjammer. Make sure to follow us on all social media at WCB Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Give us the reviews, 5-star. Yeah, I'm all over the place today.
30.
30. TSN. Jesus Christ, I give up.
TSN. All right. See you later.
I'm done. All right. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.